You're getting late night voice, Eric.
Did you say trash Garvin? Or trash garbage? What did you
I
say?
said trash garbage, but it could be rubbish Ronnie Garvin.
Rubbish Ronnie Garvin. Don't trash the man. He did a stomp that Orton ripped off so blatantly.
Do you remember the one that he did to Frenchie Martin in like WrestleMania 4?
I do. That was probably the best one he ever delivered.
Yeah, it's goddamn Schindler's List looking shit.
Talk about a fucking terrible manager. God. Frenchie Martin.
He was apparently a good wrestler. Actually, up where you're from, Broski, he was big in Montreal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I've read a lot of stories about Frenchie Martin in the airport with like dildos falling out of his suitcase or something.
He's fucking Frenchie, man. That's what
we're crazy over here, man. We're crazy up here.
They like to party in Canada, you know.
Yes, we do.
You guys have NGWK too, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Hey, make sure your dildo doesn't fall out of that suitcase, Tiger. When you,
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's been a long time. Come yeah. Hey, yo, it's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. A predator smells fear, I smell a lot. My competitors flex here. When they smelled I was hot, I want it all.
Without further ado,
good.
look at what we have here, guys. Slam Pigs Podcast, NXT TAKEOVER Orlando post-show. For the first time, unveiling my brand new co-host for NXT. Welcome, my man. You know him if you've watched the channel a lot. Broski from First Thing in the Morning. Kayfabe Today podcast. How is it going? Welcome back. I just talked to you the other day. Deja vu.
Yeah, you came over on First Thing in the Morning. You came on the Kayfabe Today podcast. We just put that episode out right now, so go check it out. Thanks for having me.
Without a doubt, man. And real quick, speaking of checking you out, where can everyone check you out and what you do?
You can find me on Twitter at MtlBroski, or you can check out my channel at youtube.com/First Thing in the Morning Show, or you could buy a t-shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/FTITM.
And I think it's always skirted around every time I'm on your show, but one day, I promise, I will get a shirt. You have my word. You have my sworn oath.
No problem, man. Take your time. The only person that needs to buy a shirt is Robbie, because he said he would, and he hasn't yet. So I'm I'm calling him out all over the place.
Well, we don't want to call him out, but we don't want to bullshit people either. Speaking of Robbie, we did announce on Twitter. Let's go ahead and say Robbie fell asleep, and we can't blame him. Some of the parts later in the show were a little drawn out seeming, but Robbie,
and it's like 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to say also the time zones. People understand it's a little different when you try to set up from a
little brother needed his nap. He needed his nappies.
But it's cool for me. I definitely got my Robbie fix this week. But I promise, guys, one day I'll try to have Robbie back.
Right.
On
Talking
the show.
to him once a week is enough.
I really need to get him and Michael together. It's going to happen.
Oh my God,
it's going to be
that would be amazing.
But speaking of amazing, I have gone out of my way to replace Robbie with last-second scramble, and thank God you got somebody having your back that's a good guy. You guys know him also been doing Grapple. Listen with him on his channel, Grapplevision. Welcome back, man. How is it going? Thank you so much for doing this last second once again. How's it going?
It's always going good around here, pretty much. Somebody didn't show up to the tag match, so I had to squeeze my hand up there onto the apron and take the tag for him. No problem. Loving to do it.
What's the guy from Goodfellas that fell Stax? Samuel L. Jackson played the jazz musician or something. And they ended up shooting him because he fell asleep at the getaway car. You totally did your intro sounding like Stax. I just want to point that out. It was all.
I fluctuate voices a lot. I end up sounding like one person for about 5 minutes, and then about 10 more minutes in, I'm not going to sound like this at all.
You can go from Sam Jackson to Stu Hart like nobody's business. I've never seen nothing like it. It's a hell of a gimmick. And man, once again, thank you. Welcome back. Real quick, where can everyone check your shit out, dude?
My stuff is it's Grapplevision. It has gotten way too popular for its own good, and it's at youtube.com/Grapplevision. You hit me up on Twitter at Tonkasaw. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
It most definitely is good, both you gentlemen, and I can honestly say this is the classiest, most established episode I've ever done on anything. So thank you guys once again for joining me. Let's get right into it. Always my favorite network shows, pay-per-views, whatever the fuck you want to call them of the year, the TakeOver shows, Orlando this year. What can you say? I've yet to see a bad TakeOver show right off the bat, guys.
I agree. I thought it was a really good show overall. My only real issue would be with the main event, but I'll wait till we get there.
I mean, we can start from the top and work our way down. However you guys want to do it, doesn't really matter. Let's go. I mean, we are fresh this off of that. Let's get right into the main event. Fuck it.
So how would you?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how would you throw the throw the whole show as a whole there? Like, I mean, we'll just do like 1 to 10. Where you at? Or I mean, if you want to give it a school grade, you know, A, B, or C, if you want, or just a fucking thumbs up, thumbs down.
I would give this show a solid B+.
Oh, it's a Daniel Bryan, he says.
Maybe an A-. I don't know. B+. I'm saying B+. I'm not playing I'm not sitting on the fence. So I'm going B+. Simply because I'm tired of these women's matches having so much potential, and they always have to follow these incredible fucking tag matches at every takeover, and it takes so much out of the match. If you put the women like second, you know what I'm saying? And also they're following right before the main event. That also takes a little bit from the main event. Thank God you had people like Bobby Roode, Nakamura, Samoa Joe in the past to be talented enough to pick that back up. But in my opinion, that's probably my biggest problem. Just how the match placement, in a way, you know?
Yeah, the women don't have it easy following the tag matches all the time. It's not really that fair.
Do you think they would be better off being relegated kind of to where the cruiserweights were in Nitro, the curtain jerker first 2 matches maybe?
In NXT, at an NXT event though, is that being relegated though? I mean,
No, I have nothing wrong with relegate. I don't see anything wrong with the first or second match. The match that I would be worried about going out after would be, like you said, the tag team match. That's the piss break match. You're done. You're exhausted. You need a minute. I mean, you're not going to get into a normal match after the crazy shit you see in some of the shit they pull in these NXT tag team matches.
You could say really any of the top 3 titles you would need a come down match after the tag, IC, US, / or the big one, of course, women's too. But I get it. That, like I said, that's my biggest problem. But yeah, let's talk about the main event, guys. Definitely the most lackluster entrance for Nakamura. And I know a lot of people got on Twitter and that, well, where the fuck's the fight? Look, if every entrance is special, it's gonna stop being special. Eventually, they've got to have him on like a grander stage, just doing his regular old entrance. It's just why not? Who cares? It's a fucking entrance for one.
How about awesome?
What's so fucking grand about a guy playing a violin? Guys, you gotta stop, man. You guys are becoming a parody of yourselves with this shit.
I tweeted, where's his violinist?
Well, no, I mean, all right, that's fine. But were you legitimately pissed? Like, were you really mad?
No, because like seconds after his entrance was over, I was like, oh man, fuck that. Yeah, Nakamura doesn't need a violinist.
No.
Well, yeah, that's another thing that should probably be stated. This is all for something that lasts about 20, 30 seconds tops.
Yeah.
But, really,
match.
I mean, does it take anything away, gentlemen? Anything at fucking all? That we didn't pay someone a couple $1,000s to come stand out there with a fucking violin that we're going to play over the loudspeakers any fucking way.
In my opinion, I don't think any entrance can really deter from any match unless maybe it's a botched entrance, like they trip. But even if they trip, they can play off that and make the match better. They could have sucked anyway, if that makes sense.
The entrances are good and they are an addition. When you start saying, oh, well, we should have gotten this entrance, really, you guys are so entitled now that you are entitled to a certain entrance.
Yeah.
Not just endings, not just fucking who gets pushed, but now you're gonna bitch at the entrances.
And you know what's even sadder?
Preach.
And it's, you know what? Yeah, exactly. That's why he's here, Eric. Welcome to Grapplevision. Listen,
It's the first time we've ever spoken. I'm very impressed.
I knew.
This is the first time we've ever got together. He's a good dude.
I knew, like, before I even hopped on the little Twitter machine, right after he made his entrance, that people were going to be bitching about it. It's like one of those cases, like, well, I'm sure, they're just going nuts right now because he didn't have a violin. Talking about entrances, though, I'm not going to bullshit you. The little mark in me when I saw the lady with the piano wanted that to be Reby Sky so bad. But it wasn't. But
I thought it was.
They deliberately made her look like that.
Yeah, they did that on
so?
Playing crazy.
Think that's
Hell
what that was?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Joe Rogan. You know they did.
Big old
we all know they did.
Slapping the marks right in the face with a big old hairy penis. But yeah,
dude,
Bobby,
they got me hook, line, and sinker. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
It's them.
Bobby's obsolete, damn it.
Oh,
Come on.
And then you had
So-
people hop on and
so
bitch that it
mean.
wasn't fucking Reby Sky, of course. The weird statement. But anyway,
How amazing was that when people started bitching that Reby Sky wasn't the one playing the piano, which, by the way, was more about an entrance that they're not even entitled to. Now they feel entitled to people being signed specifically to come and do these entrances and reveal their debut. That, by the way, again, you're not entitled to that either. I can keep going down this fucking list of shit that doesn't.
the list
just-
of grapple.
Actually,
right
I have a
here.
question.
Hmm?
What are your thoughts on the SmackDown women's division match being moved from off the pre-show to the main card?
But yet,
Speaking of entitled fans,
but yet the cruiserweights remain on the pre-show.
dude, I already saw that match when I went to the show live.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
Do you want me to get you? I'm gonna try to chill myself and try to stop going in on the entitled, because I don't know. We've been going for a few minutes. I don't want to turn it into a meme. But remember that time, entitled
Embrace the
fans,
meme.
that you just kept on and you just kept fucking on and you just kept fucking on, and they finally did what you wanted, and they put the belt on Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
And then he got hurt like a fucking month later, and all the plans were jacked, so we had to put the belt on Brock Lesnar for a fucking year, and he only wrestled 3 times. Remember that?
Did we have to put his first fucking feud with Kane?
No, that was awful.
That was always
Hey.
my bad. And you know what sucked
No,
about
you
that?
can't bitch. Everybody's first feud with the belt is Kane. Come on.
Oh no, come
You know
on.
that.
No, I don't think it was. When the fuck is it
Seth
with
Rollins.
Kane? After that, it was with the Authority, but before that, it was never
Okay,
Kane because you had the Punk era.
whoa. Benoit. Back when Benoit won the belt, he starts feuding with fucking Kane when he's done with Triple H. Like, it's
That's like
goofy, but
04.
this is what they do.
That's 04. That's way.
But like everybody who gets the belt, they push him like almost straight to Kane just to kind of Same thing they do with the Big Show. Go out there and lose to the champion so that we can diminish how big you are for a little bit longer.
And a guy
They're
like
fucking
Kane,
dumb.
when you're trying to get a guy over the hump like that, Kane's the guy you put him with before he gets the belt to give him more credibility. Like, oh my God, he beat a guy like Kane. He could win.
At this point in Kane's career, that's where he needs to be. But they flipped the script and they've done it the other way around. I totally agree with you there.
Well,
But I'm just saying, as bad as the entitlement was there, and they fucking put him with Kane, yes, I agree that sucks. But you got what you wanted, and yes, it was happenstance that he got hurt and everything. But remember how you got what you wanted, and it fucked everything up for the next year and a half?
That's two,
Just let them tell the fucking story.
That's
Thank
two
you.
references to a Terrible Fozzy album. You said, I've never heard someone say happenstance in a single conversation more in my life. So shout out to you. No, I totally get what you're saying, and I totally agree. But unfortunately, well, thank God, I should say, not unfortunately, Kane is nowhere near an NXT title match. Could you imagine? Oh, here comes Kane. Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie, I would pop if Kane showed up for just a random appearance at NXT.
And speaking of
It's like the most un-NXT guy ever.
Speaking of like pops, Eric, the main reason, I'm pretty sure you're in agreement with me because we just talked about on kayfabe today. The main reason because I'm more of a Roode guy than Nakamura, preferably. But I wanted Nakamura to win because now all we're going to hear until tomorrow night after the AJ Styles and Shane match is that Nakamura is going to be Shane McMahon's mystery guy or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's going, oh my God, in heaven.
People are working themselves up to be disappointed. That's the problem. They act surprised when they don't get what they want. And it's like NXT needs Nakamura now. Give it some time still.
I really shouldn't have cut myself off on that how entitled people are thing, should I?
No, it's
No,
fine.
you're fine. Dude. You are.
No, I'm just saying, this is another
See,
one. They
I
just
think the
keep
problem
doing that
is
shit.
the only time you and I really do this is on your channel, Grapple Listen. You are now on Hibiki TMD. You are encouraged to spout about shit like that. So
Fans are their worst enemies. You
They
want to
are.
know, you want to know who's fucking up your experience. Look in your mirror. I get that not everything that they do is the best. Not everything they do is fucking great. But I don't know. Maybe sometimes you could not sit there and work yourself into fucking thinking that shit's gonna happen that nobody fucking told you or implied or ever insinuated was gonna fucking happen, so that you can fucking bitch about it.
he spits
Maybe you
hot
shouldn't do it.
fire.
He's so right. It's insane.
It is. It really is. But the match, guys, let's get right to it. It wasn't anything particularly special. I have a little format here. I wrote down, actually, it's 2017, and I'm using notebook paper. So, anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Caveman TMD, son.
Yes. all day, every day. Captain Caveman. I had that was exactly the same paint by numbers match they had the last takeover until about upper midway through the match. I didn't think the finish would be the same with the injury, but does Nakamura have to come off as? He's not coming off as strong to me with how he's booked. He's kind of like Finn Balor was booked. He's like a weak top babyface in a way. He's coming off. He's booked as fragile. He's made a glass.
Oh,
He's
man,
always gonna. Is it me?
It's WWE, and you're gonna have to accept that for him because of how his frame is. WWE doesn't understand how to book a mid-sized MMA guy, and Nakamura needs to be booked more or less like an MMA guy, just because of how his style works and how the strikes are what do his work.
Yeah.
When he goes into the main roster, and everybody and their mother is jacked up, like they're all huge. Like Nakamura is a big dude in Japan. On the WWE roster, he is of average size, maybe even a little smaller. So, like, they're going to have to just employ a little bit of Shawn Michaels. He's going to have to sell a lot more than he used to.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to learn how to garner a lot more sympathy than he used to. But they're also going to try to capitalize on the whole strong style thing. I don't know. I see a Brock Lesnar match in the future, but I don't know if they're going to get what makes him good enough to get him to that spot to pull off what they're trying to do.
See, my problem with that, and I totally get that kind of booking for a sympathetic babyface, but when you do it with this era, all the babyfaces.
He doesn't need to be a sympathetic babyface.
No, not that, but like all the top baby faces aren't huge. They're, let's be honest, on the smaller side. So they're all being booked like this, even Rollins right now. So when every guy at the same time is always booked as a sympathetic baby face, where do we draw the line where it's just like, Jesus?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Nakamura needs to be booked as an invading force that's coming from international stardom. And he is coming to the WWE to show that he can do the same shit here. That's not hard to book,
exactly,
but they're not doing it right.
It's another case of something being a layup that should be a no-brainer, and they're going to blow their fucking wad on it. Eric, obviously the outcome of the match, Bobby Roode wins clean. So if Nakamura doesn't go to the main roster sometime soon and he stays in NXT, does this make sense booking-wise? And what did you think of the match?
Yeah, you need to talk about the booking. I ate that segment up. I'm sorry.
My problem with the match was that it was the exact same one we got last time. Like, the knee spot was like the central focus. Like, you had a lot of rest spots in this match too, a lot. Like, the whole middle part of this match was it just dragged on, and it felt like a Raw match. like we're just stretching for time. But I don't know. Out of the main events that we've seen recently at takeovers, it was my least favorite, especially after that tag match. That tag match just took everything away. Everything away. It was the best match of the night.
Do you think that's Bobby's style, where he just kind of goes for a little bit and then he turns on the match? Like, I feel like he did kind of the same thing with Ono, and like you said, he did the same thing with Nakamura the first time they went against each other. Do you think that's just kind of Bobby's style to ensure that he can go a little longer? His dad wrestled a little bit like that too.
Yeah, it could be, but I felt like it was like I was watching kind of like a New Japan match, because New Japan matches are pretty slow too.
Yeah, big emphasis on the same move, big emphasis. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, put the two of them together, and I mean, I guess I should have expected what we got. But
what I worry about is that didn't work. I don't think that worked like they wanted it to. I think they're kind of wanting to meld the New Japan style in, and it is not integrating correctly into the WWE
No, it
style.
really isn't.
I think
even though the fans love that style, it's still not working.
I think Bobby Roode is a case of he's going to flourish more on the main roster, because NXT is not a WWE style. He's on a roster with guys like DIY with that fucking tag match tonight, like you said. When he goes to the main roster, it's going to be a little more easier for him to have that rest hold style, whatever we want to call it, because it's a lot more commonplace on the main roster.
Bobby, yeah, he's made for the Randy Orton matches, the Triple H matches, those matches.
The guy too I had in my head was Orton when I see Bobby Roode up there.
Like him and Shamo, I think him and Cesaro are gonna have a fucking phenomenal match when they finally hook up. But I mean, if given the right time, of course. But like the matches that are gonna make him big, I think the first big program for Bobby will probably be The Miz.
Oh, that would be great.
That would.
That's
two
what I imagine.
My God. Book it now. Take my money. Well, let's move on, guys. We're on agreement. The match wasn't anything special, and, Bobby Roode gets your win. Nothing horrible, nothing great, just kind of you know. Women's
Do you
title
think both guys are on the right track though?
I mean, I would think so. I think they have.
I hope they don't do a third match. I hope.
Yeah,
not.
no, please no.
Unfortunately,
that.
I think Shinsuke
I have a
and
feeling
Sarah
that's
do
where it's
screw.
going.
Yeah,
You do?
But
they always
yeah.
do that. Here's where I was the most disappointed in the night, and I knew it was going to happen because it seems like at every one of these Mania Takeover shows, the women's match falls flat. It happened last year with fucking Bayley and Asuka, I believe. But I was looking to this one, forward to this one so much more because, and I have this written down in my format here: Gothic Stacey Dash versus Asuka. I really think Ember Moon is seriously one of the most beautiful female wrestlers for me I've ever seen. There's something about her. I don't know if it's those awesome contacts or what, but she definitely.
Her atom bomb contacts.
I'm open for business for her atom bomb contacts any day of the week. I'm a big Ember Moon fan, aka Athena. To get my little smart mark moment in. Hell of a wrestler, hell of a woman's wrestler, and I was looking forward to this. And like I said at the top of the show, this totally suffered from. It was booked after that incredible tag match. Nothing really else for me to say. The match was exactly what I thought it would be, except the finish. Is Asuka a heel now? And you know what?
I
Thinking
liked
about
it.
I like it too, man, and I can totally see it. And I can see Ember chasing her as a heel, and that's how Asuka leaves. And then when Asuka goes to the main roster, poof, she's a babyface again, because that's what they do. What did you guys think of this?
I love the finish, to be honest with you. I love the way she used the referee to knock her off the top rope and took advantage to hit the kick in the face and then pin her. And I thought it was really smart. I like the idea of Asuka being, into her own hype and being arrogant. I think that would be good. A nice little transition, freshen her up a bit.
And hopefully they don't do what we talked about on Grapple Listen episode 2, cheap plug. They don't turn her like stereotypical Asian that she's a heel now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's really interesting that the moment that you kind of began to worry about how they would book a heel, well, now we're going to get a nice little petri dish test for you, where you get to see how they're going to handle that. I don't know. I'm excited for the turn more than the match, honestly. I really want to see what can be done with it, where it goes. I think the most important thing that people need to keep in mind here is that if Asuka turns heel, then that probably means that they could be thinking about debuting her on the roster as a heel.
No, I don't think they would do the poof, she's a babyface magically thing.
Well, hold on.
More marketable with the mask and the female Jeff Hardy-ish vibe to her, I would say.
I feel you. It's it's test runs both ways, but just hear me out. This just means that, in my opinion, and I could be completely fucked here. I could be totally wrong.
Completely fucked.
But my opinion, though, just a guess here, is if they're doing this, it's because they want to give it a little test. See how she does as a heel, just to see if it would work right on the roster. So, to me, this is like, well, which roster has a babyface champion that would need a good heel contender? And which roster is that?
She would go to Raw flat out because they just need...
Oh, no, hold on. Which roster has a babyface champion that needs a heel challenger?
Bayley. Possibly Naomi if she wins at Mania. But like I said, the SmackDown women's roster is stacked, man, with women. Like, literally.
That's what I'm thinking that they're thinking of doing, is sending her to SmackDown, which already has plenty, when it would be so much more beneficial to go Raw.
Yeah.
But when I hear, just when I see them switching her heel, that's the concern that I have, is that, oh dear, you're thinking of maybe SmackDown.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very good. I don't
know
if I could get behind it. Hey, you know what? I don't think I've talked to of all the podcasts I've done with both you gentlemen, I've never gotten your thoughts on Ember Moon, because I've never talked about her. Are you guys Ember Moon fans, by chance?
I don't really know her that much. From what I've seen, yeah, though, I am a fan of hers. And I'd like to watch more, to be honest, before I give you a full answer. But from what I've seen, I think she's pretty good.
All right, this may kind of come off.
Wait, sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Not a fan of the contacts, though. It's cheesy 90s to me.
Get that bitch some goggles, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want.
Get some fucking Grandmaster Sexay goggles.
But
exactly.
My thing is that I'm not really a quote unquote fan of anyone anymore, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I try to stay a fan of everything in general.
That sounds so bitter.
Because
it really does. I hate to say that. It sounds so bitter.
I believe it. I believe it. But
It's so true.
It is my defense mechanism to stop myself from getting even more bitter. See, because when you are fans of people, they do things like, oh, I don't know, get busted for fucking child pornography.
Oh, no.
Or, oh, I don't fucking
right for
know.
the throat. Like,
Beat
not
the
even
shit
he
out
got
of
a
their fucking
DUI. No,
wife.
he got busted for child porn. Piece of
Well, no,
shit.
I'm just saying, like,
No, I know.
this is a problem when you're a fan of someone.
I know.
And I don't need that shit in my life where I
Well,
have to
even-
wake up and take down all this stuff where it was like, oh, I'm really pulling for this guy. And then like 2 weeks later, he's busted for child. Oh, gotta go back through my every fucking thing and get rid of all of that. I just don't risk it. I'm a fan of things. I'm not a fan of, I try to stay away from being a fan of people. I think some people are good dudes. I like some people. I think they're okay people. But I try not to be fans of them. Try not to plug them too much. And the people who I do consider friends, I pray to God I don't ever have to open up a newspaper, see their faces.
It's gotten so bad you can't even be a
Jesus
fan of Jim
Christ.
Neidhart
This is
anymore.
what happens when you were in the wrestling business for over a decade like me. This is the kind of fucking, this is just the kind of walls you put up just to make sure of things.
Trump. I heard wall. Wait, sorry, it was a bad reaction.
This turned
He
into
got a
therapy
king
real
stuck in
quick.
his
It
throat.
did. But guys, did you guys to put this women's match in a nutshell? Because quite honestly, I want to move on from it. Not a lot to say. Did you think it fell flat? Also,
I think the crowd was a poor indication of what was going on in the ring. I think the match was better than the crowd gave it credit for, but I can understand why they were like that after the tag match.
it's one of those
It was
cases
both.
that I talk about all the time where a bad crowd can kill. It wasn't a bad crowd, but a flat crowd can kill a match. Or not.
I think it was both of what you guys said. Both of you were right. The crowd could have gave it a little more love, but it really wasn't that good. I
Well,
mean, it deserved more.
Look at the wrestling orgasm the crowd just had, though, and that's the thing. Like, my God.
Yes.
And well, let's get right into that match of the fucking night, match of the year I've seen in this company. I'm gonna say right now, this is the best match I've seen in any WWE NXT / Ring all year. Three-way triple threat elimination tag match for the belts. The AOP Authors of Pain. I'm a fan of these guys. I like these guys. Of
Hell
course,
yeah.
they're bigger guys, so they're gonna get
big
shit on.
motherfuckers.
But
I like the
Against,
collider finish.
still my
That's
favorite.
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yes.
That collider finish is awesome.
It really is. It really is. I didn't know that guy was a former MMA fighter. To Toka Razar. I can't. Oh wait.
My favorite bit about it, it's awesome, it's simple, and it's safe. That's why it deserves credit.
That's true.
You know, nobody's gonna break their neck in this collider shit.
but it looks
It's
awful.
simple. Yeah, nobody's gonna, land all crazy and fuck this up. Just because of how you have to grab them, like that fucking Alpanara water slide that fucking Cesaro has to do. People fuck that up just trying to get all Jimmy rigged into that shit. Like, have you seen how wacky he has to grab you? And people, I don't fucking know. It's good. Just pick me up, dude. And fucking, like, this is simple. It's fucking new. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking safe. Bam. That's fucking wrestling.
And of course, you got
Fucking wrestling.
my favorite tag team in wrestling currently, the Revival and the DIY guys. What do you guys take this one off the bat? I don't care who. I know you guys love this match. If you didn't like this match, you're just an asshole. Like, this was a
You're
good
dead
match.
inside.
Dead inside. Really are.
You're Dennis Leary yodeling.
The superplex spot to the outside was spot of the night, spot of the match. Wow. I didn't see
I
it coming.
hate that spot with a passion
Why?
because it's the opposite of what we just said. It's the direct opposite of what we just said. It's the opposite of safe. It's the opposite of
Yeah.
fucking reason.
But it looks cool as fuck,
It's
though.
also
Oh,
your,
look,
your
yeah,
biggest
so does
NXT
this-
show of the year. So I mean, you don't see
Yeah,
people
fair
bitching
play.
about fucking Terry Funk and Cactus Jack doing insane shit into a dumpster at WrestleMania. They could have easily broken their neck. But no, that's glorified.
I totally would
That
have
was back
bitched
then,
about it
though.
if I weren't 12. If I weren't like a little 11-year-old, I probably would have bitched. But yeah, that was pretty nifty.
Could
when
you
it happened.
imagine Mick Foley like in his prime now with all the risks and all the shit we'd have to listen to with it, like, my God, he's not safe, and oh my Jesus Christ.
No, that would never happen.
But yeah,
There
I
would
you
never
know
be a
what?
Mick Foley now.
He would have never
I
got
like
out of
the spot.
CCW nowadays.
I mean, the spot. You're right. It doesn't make sense. Why would a bunch of fucking guys stand there and wait for this guy to suplex and whatnot? And logically, no, it doesn't. But it was the spectacle of it, and I think the thing I liked about it the most, like, I didn't see it coming, like, and that rarely happens. And they got.
Hold on.
I'm
I can
willing
save
to
it.
admit it. So put me up on the crosshairs, the nails.
No. I can save it. I will pull you down from that cross. I'm going to back off of my position. I made the logic for this move and why it works. Okay, the superplex, when they go to set it up and he goes to do this superplex. Guys, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but he's going to fucking die, right? You're going to fucking die? Okay, so everybody else sees this and like, oh God, I don't want to go to the penitentiary. So, guys, let's run over here and catch this shit so we don't go to the penitentiary for a fucking wrestling match. That's the logic of the move.
There you go. Explain. That's logic
And
right there.
That's good logic.
I like it.
Eric,
Book it.
You're
Fine
the tiebreaker, man. Did you like this spot? Did you think it was silly? Silly pants.
No, I liked it. It looked crazy. I love when wrestling looks crazy. It's you leave the real world on the outside and you just enjoy it, and whatever happens. And it looks insane. It's a huge spectacle of just watching one guy toss another dude into a bunch of other dudes. It's a good time.
When it's done right, though, and that's the biggest thing that people don't understand. When it's overdone, it stops being special. And you got to sprinkle that kind of shit. And like I said, this is the biggest NXT show of the year. It needed that spectacle spot, and that was it for the night. Out of these three teams, guys, who did you want? Like, I'm pretty sure the Revival and DIY are headed up pretty soon. Because I hate to say this, I see that red hot Heavy Machinery and Authors of Pain feud. I don't know if you guys have seen Heavy Machinery, the two big fat guys in Owen Hart singlets when he had that Nation of Domination Danger sign. I wish I made that up. I really did, but I didn't. And they're booking those guys like they're the fucking Steiner brothers or something. There's vignettes for them, and it's It's like Men at Work WCW tag team jobbers levels of bad. I don't know.
Woof.
What do you guys think? Who did you have going into this?
Before we do that, I just want to add one thing. For me, the spot of the night was watching DIY and the Revival work together and do each other's finishing moves.
Yes.
I thought that was fucking sick.
It was.
It was very entertaining. But I wanted the Revival to win. But I really wanted Jim Cornette to come out with. Did you guys see that picture that I think Scott Dawson posted of them with Cornette? That was the best.
I think they could have just talked him into it for just one night.
Just one night.
Just one night. We need you for one night. Ellring's out there. Come on, Jim.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ellering doesn't even know where he's at. He thinks it's like 86. I shouldn't say that about Paul Ellering. He thinks they're setting up a scaffold or something. I
mean, how easy a booking was that, though? I mean, just one night.
You're right.
It would have been amazing. Get them involved on the outside a bit.
And Cornette will probably if it happened, Cornette will probably have some reason well, I said I'd never appear on the team. Well, you did the Hall of Fame. You can't. You've already went back now. Yeah. You've already went back now. Do 10 minutes with the Revival. Come on now, they deserve it.
He looked good though. He looked good on the Hall of Fame.
He did. I think everybody looked good on the Hall of Fame this year. It was really an undepressing show. I mean, even the Rick Rude induction, it wasn't it was sad.
His son looks like he could fucking go tomorrow.
I did not see any of the Hall of Fame yet. I actually was going to watch after we recorded this. I did see Kurt Angle.
Sorry for the spoilers.
No, I don't give a fuck. It's the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was pouring milk on himself, so I saw that. That's going to be awesome to watch.
I was going to say, this is one of the first Hall of Fames to watch that was not I don't know. Most of them try to get you with the, I remember this guy, and everybody's sad. And I'm not poking fun. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying it's usually a pretty downtrodden affair here. This year, it was a fucking party.
I thought it was really, really entertaining this year. Usually I'm depressed halfway through it, but this year was pretty uplifting. And then you had Angle at the end with, like you said, Travis, the pouring milk all over himself. That was great.
Yeah, this was 10 out of 10. This is probably one of the best Hall of Fame ceremonies ever. I mean, I can't.
Wow.
I haven't thought about it yet.
That is so
to really gauge it, but right now in my head, I can say that it's probably one of the best ever.
I'm with you 100%. As soon as it was over, I was thinking to myself, this is probably one of the best ones that there's ever been.
I actually would consider watching it again. Would you consider watching it again?
Yeah, I would actually.
Yeah, it's that fucking good. It's fucking Hall of Fame ceremony you'd watch more than once. You'd be glad.
There's a couple of times where the crowd was There's a couple of times where the crowd was annoying, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Crowd's always annoying.
Yeah. I hate the crowd at the Hall of Fame, to be honest.
I hate the crowd at most times. I get so fucking tired of them entertaining themselves.
Dude, we're gonna get along.
That's what they're doing. You entertain yourselves. You sit there and try to pop the guy next to you. It's fucking obnoxious.
Perfect placement of the puzzle piece with Grapplevision on this show this week. Back when DVDs were still relevant, one of the main reasons I'd buy the WrestleMania DVD was like for the Hall of Fame discs, and like the last couple of years sucked, and I've like never gone. I don't even think I watched the one from last year, maybe the Freebirds induction, but I used to go back and watch them all the time. So that's really refreshing to hear you say that. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, the Freebirds induction. I was expecting that to not. I don't know, that one. Don't get me wrong. Like, I hate to put it this way, but it kind of let me down. I expected it to be.
No, you know what? The way it
not
kind of
sad.
like. No. The way they kind of started getting lost at times.
Yeah.
That was just good. It was like watching it was like watching a car slid on the highway, but it's like almost at the edge, but it doesn't go over, but it goes right up to the edge.
Of course, with fucking Michael Hayes driving, of course it would be like that.
Yeah, they're driving kind of like skimming the ditch over and over. Yeah, I kind of see what you mean. Like it could have been better. Like that was how I felt about this Hall of Fame. I genuinely would probably watch again.
But if you look at them, if you like take a really good look at them, you're like, yeah, that's probably the way it should have gone.
Fair play.
Exactly.
I won't lie. The Freebirds, their partying days are behind them. But I thought they had about 10 minutes of party left in them. Damn it.
Guys, moving on real quick, because man, we're just plowing through this show. Real quick, climb the mountain, sing the praises. Drew McIntyre is back. It seems.
Oh man,
they showed fucking Drew. I wanted to say Drew Galloway. I haven't referred to him as McIntyre in a while. Velvet's son.
Wait, Drew Galloway? You mean that guy that TNA like had sitting there who was extremely fucking talented and was under contract, and they literally didn't even fucking get back to him about a fucking contract?
Wow, wow.
That guy?
What's TNA?
Jesus.
Yeah, Drew Galloway.
Oh yeah, and then they had to sell to Impact. Yeah, those people. Yes, because TNA doesn't even fucking exist anymore. This is the worst.
I'm surprised. Surprised they didn't send fucking cease and desist letters to WWE. Don't let him use long hair because he used it on our television. Yes.
I'm surprised they haven't sent cease and desist to me.
Fucking cocksuckers. Yeah, to you too.
I can't believe that shit, man. The shit they're pulling on the fucking Hardys is just amazing. But yeah, McIntyre, he should be safe. He should be.
You know what? Say what you will. Play devil's advocate. Vince would have done the same fucking thing back in the day with that kind of shit, with that cease and desist. Because he did do it with Razor and Diesel.
He did it with Bam Bam Bigelow's tattoos on his head.
Exactly. He did it with Razor and Diesel, and they didn't even call him Razor and Diesel. They just talked like they did in WWF, and that was enough to take him to court. You know?
Yeah, I mean that seems ludicrous, but he tried to cease and desist the tattoos off of Bam Bam Bigelow's head.
I know. That
you understand how fucking that is Vince.
That's crazy.
No, the stuff like the
Vince,
Hardys.
Do you understand how absurd you are?
That's fucking business, and that's more understandable. But the fucking tattoos, I don't know. That's brutal.
I fucking love Vince McMahon.
If I ever met him, I would have I would say this with a smile on my face. I'd be like, "Do you know how absurd you are? Yes or yes."
God, I would give anything like to spend like a couple days with him because I'm sure it couldn't last longer than a couple days. But my God, what an interesting time that would be.
Oh my God, pal! We'll just get it paid to get removed. Hell.
God damn, pal.
Dude, I think if he called me pal, I'd lose my mind.
Everybody pal. He calls everybody pal. That's his thing.
He's such a good guy. What a good guy.
I think Vince McMahon really is one of the most fascinating human beings on the planet.
Hell yeah.
He just
He's
gets
a character,
overlooked constantly.
Without a doubt.
Like when people do those lists of the most interesting people in the world, you never see him, and I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
It's because it's wrestling. If it was any other form of entertainment,
they overlook it because it's wrestling. This dude is a fucking he is the most interesting man in the world, probably. Like holy
the fact
shit!
That he never sleeps.
Who's not
he's
a meme.
Yeah, he is so. He is a 70-year-old billionaire who took over an industry and is jacked. Like he's as big, if not bigger, than most of the people on his professional wrestling roster at 70.
Yep.
I mean, the dude he's a cartoon.
He is a cartoon.
Had a football league. Also makes movies. Also did a bodybuilding federation with magicians and cavemen and shit.
He beat the American government.
He's Oh
it's like
man.
one of those. It's like one of those American tall tales, like Paul Bunyan, The Legend of Vince McMahon. It's really
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Just so that
But
people
he is
know
a
how
legend,
little
man.
people think of wrestling, they made a movie about the people versus Larry Flint. He is a pornographer.
That movie kicks
Yeah.
ass. I love that movie.
No, I've got
That
nothing
is a good
against the
movie.
movie, but I just want people to understand how much more interesting is Vince McMahon.
Pretty damn more interesting than Larry Flint.
Leaps and bounds. And I've got nothing against Larry Flint, but I'm just saying leaps and bounds more interesting.
There needs to be a Netflix series, like a sit,
There
like-
needs
like
to be
his
so many
life
things.
bio
like a
series.
like a drama about his life. Yeah,
They're
Yeah,
too
there
busy
should be
making
so many-
fucking Final Fantasy 14 series that sound terrible. Like, I don't know if you saw the concept of that. That's a whole other podcast. Sorry, guys.
There's problems on Netflix series. There's
Did-
problems.
We talked about it earlier with Shinsuke. Is Drew McIntyre now the guy that takes up the mantle when Shinsuke leaves a feud with Roode as a babyface?
that could be a pretty good indication that someone's heading up.
I think Drew and Ono are the match that's probably going to happen first.
That'll be good.
I think they're going to kind of just size both of them. I think they're going to have a really good match, but I don't know about how long Ono is going to stay. There's people have been so ridiculous. You know those people who begged for him to come back, and then immediately when he came back started bitching about what he wore to the ring. You know those fucking people that are their own worst fucking enemies over here. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I
Okay,
know who
you
you're
mean-
talking
You
about.
mean people
Yeah, those
like me? But like, no, I'm just kidding. I
Well, no,
never-
it's like, hey, please bring him back. Please bring him back. And he's back. He's like, oh, he looks stupid. Well, you
yeah.
look stupid.
I never asked for him to come back. I'll say that. I haven't been. I'm
No,
not a
that's
huge
fair.
Chris here.
That's fair.
At least I didn't
thought he
ask.
was
I
kinda
can still
stupid.
bitch about his tucked in fucking skin tight basketball jersey. Looked like
That was
And tonight
weird.
apparently he was playing the role of Karl Malone from WCW because it was in his fucking
Yeah.
Utah Jazz get up. So hey, it looked better than that white bullshit because white flatters no one. Let's be honest.
It really doesn't.
Except
No.
Yokozuna in the '93 Rumble.
I don't know. Ricky Steamboat's white tights.
That is Ricky Steamboat was like a
The
beautiful
baby face
angelic-
white
When he
tights.
came out, he was so beautiful and angelic at WrestleMania 3. It was like he glowed. It was awesome. You gotta admit.
That's true. That's true.
He is second only to Luger in his holy presence.
This one's getting a lot of controversy. The debut of Alistair Black, Tommy End, for those familiar with him on the British scene, indie scene. A lot of people saying it fell flat. I thought the entrance was very cool, but it could have been a little shorter for me. It's like we said, it's the entrance. It doesn't make or break anything, but it was well done. It was. I don't know how I feel yet. It's too early for me. I'm one of those guys. I got to see more what they do. I don't know. The match was fine. I do like Almas a lot better as a heel, just like we've seen with the Usos in a case. He's so talented. La Sombra or whatever he was called, he was so good when he was in New Japan as the Intercontinental Champion. On top of it, he's very overlooked when you talk about guys in ring, and for me, he's got to be up there. But still, good little match, not terrible. Black's finisher was weird. We'll see if they keep that for him. What'd you guys think?
I wasn't a big fan. I didn't really pay too much attention to this match. I got to be honest. I wasn't. It's not that I have anything against anybody in the match, but just did nothing for me, to be honest. I tried to get into it, and it was a
You
good
got
match.
really annoyed right about the time he got to the stairs.
No, indifferent would be a better way of putting it.
Fair play. Yeah, that's a better description. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, just let's get on with this, please. I want the tag match.
The tag match is probably going to be the best thing we see all weekend, possibly.
I just
Yeah.
get fixed on whether they work or not, and the truth is that entire thing just didn't work. And their whole gimmick with their NXT has a nice little niche market here. You can't be marketing half of the people with these more or less retro packages, and then on the other hand, be going for this really edgy, almost like anonymous-esque fucking promos for this other fucking cat. You know, like, you get a fucking style, right? And you stylize your show this way, and it works. This guy does not fit on this show. He looked like he should be coming out on fucking Wrestling Society X a decade ago.
Well, there's
That's-
that, but I think the other problem is flip the coin. That is the problem because it just mirrors like there's so many dark, quote unquote, gothic characters. You have like 4 guys in Sanity now with like black metal face paint apparently. Ember Moon, who's like a darker character. Alistair Black. I'm sure somebody else. I'm not remembering what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's like they're overdoing it with that brooding. I'm so fucking goth shit. I know what you mean.
It's very
And
90s.
there's also
very
there's
90s
also people on
gimmick.
the roster. What about the fucking Ascension sitting up there, not with shit to do?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they could be attached as a lackey if Alistair works out when he goes
Yeah.
to the main roster. Perhaps they could be the lackeys
I
or
could see
some
it stable.
shit.
I could see that stable.
But this is goofy because you know damn well that's not gonna go anywhere. It's just something to fucking do with the Ascension at most.
Yeah.
So that's a waste of time. So
Well,
if that's like the only thing we can think of, that's not good.
fair play though. You know, it did rejuvenate Bradshaw and Farouk. People shit on the acolytes at first when it was the ministry, but over time they got themselves over. So who knows? It's fucking wrestling. Who knows?
No, look, this could totally turn around. This is the debut, but it didn't work. Okay, so I mean it wasn't fucking Shockmaster falling through the fucking wall or anything, but it fucking wasn't a home run by any stretch. You got, I mean, you
That's
know,
the holy grail.
Like towards the end of the match, I thought it picked up a bit, and I did start like kind of getting into it, but by then the match was over. So,
what
it's
about
very-
the finish, bro? What about the move?
His finisher was like, it was weird. The guy was on the
Yeah.
ground. He lifted them up with like the top of his foot very slowly. It seemed like an eternity. And then he just kicked him in the fucking head like Tajiri. And that was his finish. It was just weird. I don't know how I feel. It's got to grow on me, I think. We'll see. I just got to see more. Like I said,
It's not gonna work now. No, dude, all right, look, hear me out. We've watched Daniel Bryan do his thing where he does that same thing to people, and everybody thinks Daniel's one of the best wrestlers ever. He didn't put people away when he did that. We've watched plenty of other guys. Samoa Joe does a very similar kick. He doesn't put people away when he does that.
True.
I mean, this is going to take a lot of establishing that when this one guy kicks you, when you happen to be on the ground kneeling,
yeah, it's over.
yeah. And not even like a big like running super kick, like for real, like he just kicks you. I mean, let's talk.
It's underwhelming.
It really is.
That's all of this stuff they've built up, this big entrance, and then we're gonna take you out with kick.
That could be 3 of the most overused things in wrestling right now. That slow Daniel Bryan / Tajiri kick, dives, and super kicks. Those 3 fucking things right there, they're so overdone to the point where they're not special. How does Shawn
So many
Michaels
moves,
really
guys.
fucking feel about that? Could he give a fuck really, or do you think in a way he's pissed that everyone's using his finish, his signature move,
Nah.
not even a setup move? Do you think he gives?
I don't think
shits?
he gives a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you can
Got his
probably
money.
find out his opinion if you go to theaters. I'm sorry, I almost broke into my Sean spiel.
Let's get through nothing a lot for me to say about the opener really. It was an 8-man tag booked to be No Way Jose. They play. I don't know if he's really injured. They played up the angle. He was attacked earlier today or something at like a event. Replaced by Cassius Ohno playing for the Jazz, like I said, with Roderick Strong, who's slowly kind of being a bust. They need to do something a little bit, I think, with Strong. He's not getting over.
No.
He's bust.
Who the fuck else?
Oh, it's not gonna
Ty
work.
Dillinger and Roxy Riot, Ruby Riot, somebody I've never ever seen in my life till tonight because I don't watch every episode of NXT.
Yeah,
so.
same here. I've never seen her.
So I'm not alone. Against the.
Can we
same-
talk about Ty Dillinger for about just let's talk about it. Put like a 2-minute time limit on it. Can we talk about Ty Dillinger for a second?
No. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm just fucking with you.
Fuck you.
I think this needs to happen. Okay,
Go for
guys.
it. Go
You know
for it.
how you fucking hate James Ellsworth now, and when I say that now, everybody's like, "Oh God, yes." But like 4 or 5 months ago,
I cannot hate on
like,
Big
hold on,
Al.
I don't hate him.
Big
I'm
Al.
talking about them. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The people who are bitching to get him off of TV now after they rallied for fucking
Yeah.
6 months to make him the main
So
event
ridiculous.
of fucking WrestleMania.
So
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, those fucking people. Okay, you know that thing you're doing now
Roderick
with
Strong.
fucking Ty.
They're doing
Ty
it with Roderick Strong.
No, they're doing it with Ty Dillinger really bad. Okay, they're pretending Ty Dillinger is a really great wrestler. Now listen, I've got nothing against Ty Dillinger, and he's a perfectly fine wrestler. It's perfectly fine. But fans acting like Ty Dillinger is like like that's a real problem that Ty Dillinger isn't like getting a huge push. Like there aren't like, I don't know, 30 guys at least ahead of him. And that's not a fucking knock. This is a very cluttered industry of fucking talent.
He's in an industry where if you strike gold, though, it doesn't matter, and he's struck gold for now
No,
until it's not shiny and new anymore, and then the luster's worn off and people are sick of it.
Exactly.
Like everything.
Yeah.
The problem is what is most likely to happen is that they'll bring him up till Raw. He'll win one match. He'll win like his debut, and then he'll just be a jobber or a comedy gimmick.
I mean, he's already a jobber. He cannot win
No,
the
here's-
takeover show. Again, he lost.
What
to
I
Nick
see happening is Fandango at fucking best.
Yep.
Where he's, it's a thing. Oh, it's so great. Oh, yeah, we kind of forgot about it because we started bitching because the person we didn't want to win didn't win this thing. So we're going to chant for this guy who quit 2 years ago because we make fucking sense.
I can't think of a better comparison than Fandango, or where I think his career is going to go, honestly. So that's nail on the head type shit right there.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen to him. And it's going to happen because he's got a perfectly good gig down here in NXT.
And let's be honest,
Stop
he's
calling for him
less.
to get pulled up.
They all do.
He's not-
That's the thing. They all had a fucking perfectly good gig, and then what happens? Then what the fuck happens?
Just look at Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, she is the champ. She's making that money. Let's be real. She
sticks out like a sore fucking thumb up there.
She's been exposed, dude.
She's been exposed on purpose. I've come to these. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think they're purposely giving her way too much mic time to expose her. I think someone doesn't.
They're trying to make her Lady Roman, so they can say, "See, fans just don't like the people we're pushing to be smart," and like some of the blame is on WWE. They do bad booking sometimes.
Well,
the Bailey thing is on them.
There's also that wild card they talk about with the lady sabotage. The ladies backstage are cutthroat. A lot of people talk about. Who knows?
Of course.
Who knows?
Well, everybody backstage is cutthroat. It's wrestling. Nobody back there gives a shit about anybody else back there.
True.
Okay, they are. Everybody back there is like, oh, how much money did I make? Okay, well, I could make a little bit more if this fucking asshole would get the fuck out of here.
Unless you're like
good. That's the way it should be. It should be that way.
Yeah.
Fuck this camaraderie, man. You got to go cutthroat. Everybody was competitive. That's what was so good about the Attitude Era.
Well, there's this new thing that's kind of getting over with wrestling fans, and I find it really interesting. This concept of the good brother, and I got nothing against Anderson and Gallows. Like maybe they do have some good brothers. Don't get me. I know about the good brother thing. Okay, everybody who you happen to like is not a good brother. Okay, and you don't know what a good brother is just because you watched a podcast. And fucking, they're like, oh yeah, this is my friend and he's a good brother. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah. So fuck it, there are not many good brothers. That's the fucking reason that there's shitheads, brothers, and good brothers. Pieces of shit are out there. And then there's brothers. And then there's good brothers. And most people are fucking lying to you when they say they're a good brother.
There you have it.
Just
shots fired.
A little bit there.
I call everybody a good brother.
Most people that you interact with and you're friends with, you would call a good brother because that's why they're your friend. But in fucking pro wrestling, none of these people are friends.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're calling you a good brother, it's because they think, oh man, maybe he'll, I don't know, maybe some good could get. I'm not accusing this particularly of Anderson and Gallows because those guys are set. But most guys are like, well, if I buddy up to this guy, he's my good brother now. Come on, man, you're a good brother. Can you hook me up a little? That's how that shit works. That's fucking wrestling.
It's the game, dog. It's just how they roll.
Yeah.
There you have it, guys. Takeovers in the books, Orlando. I liked it, like you said at the top show. B+ for me. What did you guys grade this show real quick?
I'm not really good with grades, so I'm going to give it a skateboarding puppy holding a kitten.
Wow. So
out of 10. out of 10.
Bret Hart was just a collect. Can I just mention, by the way, do you see Edge in the crowd? Is it just me or is he morphing into Bret Hart? He looked like fucking Bret Hart. He looked like angry lesbian.
He needs to stop growing. Yeah, his hair looks weird now, and he looks weird. He's getting weird.
He's always looked a little weird though.
Yeah, he's a little buggy-eyed.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. I gave the show 6 entitled wrestling fans out of 10.
Nice.
But it was not. I don't know. Maybe
I guess I would rate it.
They went weird on it.
If I had to rate it for real, I would probably give it a little bit higher, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10.
Everything was fine. There was nothing that was wrong on the show, but I think that the goofiness of a lot of the fans probably took away from some of the things on the show where, like, I'm just like, really, this is what's bothering you, and then that bothers me, and then, that's kind of how that plays out. And yeah, there were some things that could have been maybe a little different booking, wouldn't have killed it. Maybe switching up, like you said, switching up the match order could have helped some people.
I'm just glad I tuned in for the tag match. Like that made watching the entire thing worth it to me.
It really did.
I really enjoyed that.
I'm going to change my grade. I'm going to give this show 2 Quebecers and 1 Heavenly Body.
Nice.
I think that's a very fair.
That's a solid grade. That's a solid grade.
Wow. Okay. Well, WrestleMania has some big shoes to follow. Then
they got to at least pull out 2 members of Well Done to be up there. But real quick,
I'm expecting at least a Dino Bravo.
Ooh,
I think WrestleMania has a better chance this year at being better than the Takeover than last year.
Last year was like the standard bearer for the minimum you can do for a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, this is as little as you can get away with, motherfucker. Like,
really it is.
That's the standard bearer. No less than that.
Well, gentlemen, we are on the eve of WrestleMania 33 tomorrow night right here. Slam Pigs Podcast post show. I have no clue if we're going to have a guest or not. Maybe it'll just be me and Drunk Michael. He's going to be plastered probably, thankfully.
We're more.
Yeah, it's on WrestleMania Eve. Make sure.
Limits have
check
been
under
set.
your trees.
Agreements have been signed. It's in paper. It's in writing. So Michael, there's not going to be a Royal Rumble repeat. Thankfully. Real quick, Grapplevision. Where can everyone find you one more time on Twitter? All that good stuff.
I'm on youtube.com/Grapplevision, and on Twitter you can hit me up at @Tonkasaw. And since it's WrestleMania Eve, make sure to check under your trees for a screw job.
Oh no, I'm from Montreal, man. That's a terrifying word. How dare you?
It's like yelling fire in a theater.
MtlBroski, what can you say, man? Thank you. First time installment of you being my co-host for the NXT TakeOver show. It's been real, dude. Thank you, man, for doing this. Real quick, where can everyone check your ass out?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad. It's fun that we're doing a show on your channel since you've been on mine so much recently. So I'm glad we're going to do this for every NXT event. You guys can check me out at youtube.com/firstthinginthemorningshow, or you can follow me on Twitter at MtlBroski. And if you like what I do, you can support the show by going to prowrestlingtees.com/FTITM right now until Monday afternoon. 15% off. Use code MANIA.
Look at this guy. Look at this professionalism, Lord Alfred.
I'm a fucking corporate shill.
He is so much better at his plugs than I am.
I feel like I need to soundbite you saying promotional consideration paid for by the following. But yeah, and also, guys, I recommend Broski and Ahoski, your brand new podcast with the lovely Verdi Good. It's good stuff. Funny as always. Guys, that's it. That's all we got. Real quick, follow me on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out Slam Pigs Podcast at Slam Pigs Podcast. Check out our sister show, The Reset Button, right here on Hibiki T on YouTube. Check me out on Grapplevision as well on Grapplevision's channel. That's all I got, guys. You got to get out until tomorrow night, right here. Slam Pigs Podcast, WrestleMania post show. See you later.
Hey, you dirty fucking pigs. Mike here from the Slam Pigs Podcast, reminding you once again to check us out on Twitter, whether it be the Slam Pigs Podcast, whether it be me at Mike the Slam Pig, or whether it be our sister show, The Reset Button. Check us out. Also, you can find us on Facebook at the Slam Pigs Podcast or The Reset Button. And as always, make sure you check us out as a whole on Hibiki TMD. Until we see you next time, oink oink.